Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Tom Morgan Drum Studio. We're back in the sequential approach to fundamental snare drum now, and hope you're going through that with me and that you have your own copy of the book. We've progressed to page 46, and we're taking the two rhythms that we talked about in our last video, 2/16 and an eighth and 2/16, and now we're going to make them into buzz exercises on page 46. Now there's two ways that you can practice this, at least two ways. One would be to take each line and play it multiple times, 20 times without stopping. And I highly recommend doing that. But another way to do it, and the way I'm going to do it for you today, is to start at the beginning and play each line twice and just read down the page. There's value in that too, because you have to switch up and think about each new pattern. Now these are written in the style with the Z's, so it's very clear that we're buzzing 16th notes here. So if you want to play along with me, that would be great. If you can go as fast as I'm going. I'm not going super fast, but you might need to do this slow. But remember, the goal is to connect the buzzes so that we get a constant buzz roll with the least amount of pulsation as we can get. Okay? So we don't want short little stubby buzzes or anything like that. We want long connected buzzes. All right, so we'll play each line twice and go straight down the page. So here we go. 1, 2, and ready, and go. All right, so that's straight down the page. Now, of course, you could do this starting with the left hand, which I highly recommend. So you're able to do the buzzes starting with either hand. Also, practice it at different dynamic levels. Practice it really soft. That's particularly difficult to do. Okay, so that is page 46. And now, through the magic of video, we have a snare drum here, because our next page, 47, is a solo called Boomerang. And so I thought it would be nice to play it on a snare drum. By the way, when you practice on a pad playing buzzes, it's more difficult to really get a connected, flowing buzz roll. But when you go over to the snare drum, it's quite a bit easier if your snare has any resonance or ring to it. So when I play a buzz roll here, you see that now I have a nice flowing buzz roll with very little pulsation. So that's kind of exciting when you go from the pad to the snare and you realize, wow, I'm doing this a little better than I thought I was. So now look at this solo Boomerang. The reason it's called Boomerang is because when you get to the very end, it says DC au fine. And DC stands for da capo, which in Italian means go back to the beginning. So it's different than DS, which means go back to the sign. DC means go back to the beginning. So we go clear back to the very beginning, and we play until we see the fine. And if you look on the music, you'll see that the fine is right at the very end of the first line. So all we're really repeating is the first line. Also notice the dynamics. There's two dynamic levels here, forte and piano, loud and soft. And there's some decrescendos and crescendos thrown in too to be aware of. Now, one more thing I want to mention here, on the second to the last line, second measure, there's some accents there that I hope have been taken out of your book, because I've found over the years that they're a little bit difficult for beginners to play, the idea of accenting the number and the so like this. So if you're able to play that, by all means, and it's in your book, go ahead and play it. But if those are hard for you, don't worry about it. Just leave those out. Do the decrescendo at the end down to piano, but don't worry about those accents. All right, so here's Boomerang, and we'll just play straight through it. 1 and 2, ready and go. And so that's Boomerang. Hopefully you can work that solo up and get to where you can play it. Hopefully you noticed that I played the same stickings that we talked about in our last video, always playing 2/16 and an eighth as right, left, right, and an eighth and 2/16 right, right, left. And always playing all 4/16 as right, left, right, left. So very important to do that. And the same thing is true when you are playing the buzz rolls. Now in this solo, as we just played, the rolls are all written using shorthand notation. So maybe I should have mentioned a little bit more about that. But for example, in the third measure, that would be the same as line 1 on the page before. So we're really just buzzing 2/16 and then an eighth. So 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN. And every roll on there, you'll find over on the page before it in the exercises spelled out for you with the Z notation. So hopefully there's no confusion there. All right, well, thanks a lot and have fun with this. If you had fun on this video, then press the like button. And please subscribe if you haven't, and hit the bell so when I make new videos, you'll be aware of that. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.